Hello and welcome to a very special podcast series, SheDiaries Trailblazers. This series is in conversation with trailblazing women who have accomplished levels which many would think was unimaginable. They have broken silos, they have smashed glass ceilings, and surmounted multiple odds. They have left a template for young women and girls to follow. They have left a trail of very inspiring stories. For this episode, I am delighted to have Dr. Srimathy Kesan, founder and CEO of Kidz India. And she has an interesting story, very, very inspiring, very fascinating, if I may say so, because she's in an area which has been historically dominated by men, which is she's also, one of, she's perhaps the only woman founder in the world to have built and launched 27 plus space missions and 2 rocket launches. Welcome to the show, man. Delighted to have you here.
Thank you. Same here. My God, beautiful prelude to the start. Thank you.
So tell us something about Kidz. Take us back. It's about 16 years old now. 2010 you started. What made you do this? Was there a trigger? Was there a wow moment? Was there something that, was there a moment of calling?
I would say it was a moment of calling because space is one industry where you don't choose. Space has to choose you. I seldom say this. Where is God? You look up and space is there. So I think you need to have a deep passion to be in this industry because it is not very commercially lucrative. Hence, people think twice before stepping in. And so it's a man's world because passion can be related to men, and women's passion is still confined to the home ground. So to break that, I think Kidz was born. Initially, to start off, we were taking children to NASA, the European Space Center, and the Russian Space Center for an educational, comprehensive, hands-on training. So it was more like a visually impactful trip, I have to tell you. So children got excited when they went there, and that gave me a kick because I got married as a young girl, 18 years, was at home for 16 years, and this eureka moment or the calling came after that. A friend of mine who gave me an opportunity to go to Miami for a conference, and that is where I got to meet the Space Coast directors, and I understood that space can be read beyond textbooks.
That's right.
So it's not only confined to textbooks like how we had in our era.
Absolutely. And now we see there's a distinct difference now when we talk about space, particularly in the context of space startups. And just as an outsider's view, I'm telling you, what I understand is that previously space was mostly seen as a destination. Now space is seen as a service. That's a fundamental shift that has taken place. You have a fascinating and very interesting background because you don't have a background in space. And rocket science, as we say in English, represents something extremely complicated because it's a phrase that has come to get associated with something which is extremely complicated and difficult to solve. And without a background there, you have gone on to launch, space missions and rocket launches. Tell us something about the last 16 years. How has been the experience been, and how did it all go about?
So there was a reverse engineering that I was working on because I was awarded at the US Economic Department for building the tourism of the state of Florida. That hit me hard. I thought I was taking children there for creating an awareness about space. And I didn't know about the finance part of it and the economic part of it. So I thought probably the last child of my country needs to do something in space. And if the entire economics is going to be there, going to another country, what are we doing here? So that is when I wanted to build satellites, wanted the world to look at you and say, hey, yes, here we come with the youth of India to build nanosatellites. So we built a proposal We went and met senior scientists at ISRO, and they were extremely happy at the presentation.
But
But
how did you, without a background in science and space, how did you go about building that presentation?
well, very frequently when I went to Kennedy Space Center and Johnson Space Center, yeah, I had traveled to the universities there, had interaction, length and breadth of interactions with professors there at Embry-Riddle, UCF, and all of it. And whenever we travel to NASA, you have this education component where there were educators who would teach you how to build a nanosatellite, a rocket. Those are the very, very basic ones. So, more than having a graduation, I was a learner every day. So, I think that gave me more knowledge,
So did you
more.
read up papers?
Yes, of course. It's NASA, ESA have open papers, a lot of open source papers. So our entire team, we would sit, discuss, read, and rip those papers apart and try to figure out where we can actually disrupt this industry. And it is with regards to physics and math. The calculations are very important. So I had a bunch of students who were working on the math of it. And we said, okay, let's try. Now, when we went and met the senior scientist at ISRO, he said, I love the presentation, but don't tell me we are going to take your satellite and oh, you have to complete your regular education, come back after your master's. We are here to support you. And we were like, oh my God, but let's not get disappointed. Let's do something else. So, an alternate method, we thought, let's fly the payload in a balloon, high altitude balloon, a helium balloon, instead of the rocket. So, 2015, without any prelude, we got all the permissions and everything because that itself is a huge task, and clearances of DGCA and airport authority and everything. And we launched this high altitude balloon 40 kilometers near space, which is called stratosphere. And the best part is we retrieved the payload. And once we retrieved the payload, we understood what is the temperature, the radiation, and the pictures that were taken and everything. So that paved way for our other missions.
Right. Uh, Tell me something about your mission, Shakti Sat. What does it do?
Oh, thank you. That's the closest mission to my heart because 27 missions, of which 26 missions were all predominantly by boys. I was the only girl in the team.
Right.
And it was always that, we bring girls, they're there for a week, 2 weeks, and some pressure, challenges, they have to quit the team. That was really saddening. So, for the 75th Indian independence, I thought we need to do something really different. Without villages, no independence. So, bring the girls from the villages, give them the opportunity to build a satellite, and tell the world what girls can do. So that's how we built Azadi Sat, or the Freedom Sat, for the 75th Indian independence. That left a huge impact on all these girls. It was a great transformation for the parents, for the community, that they could get their girls educated, if not married at the age of 15 and 16, which is still prevalent. So there was a huge shift. I thought, why only India? There's so much of an impact. Let's try if we could bring the entire world together. Because people keep talking about debris management. Why do you want to throw something in space? Okay, so let's create a global space organization, bring everybody together, predominantly the girls, because it's only 19 to 21% of girls in this industry globally. So create an educational component for them. Then handpick one child from each country, bring them to India, and build a spacecraft to the moon. To the moon, because any part of the world, every child, every human being can look up to the moon and say, hey, when she can do it, I can do it. And globally, for what is happening around, this is going to be a peaceful item. So, Mission Shakti Sat, 108 countries, 12,000 girls, one spacecraft to the moon.
Oh, absolutely, extremely inspiring. How can we? And I mean, this is of course one way you're encouraging girls to take up STEM and STEM as a career in education. it is important for girls to get into STEM and also get into rocket science. How can we go about encouraging more and more of doing that? We need more of people like you, isn't it?
Absolutely. So we're trying to speak to the education department in all of the countries to have this as a curriculum, basically. Because if you're not going to create that awareness as a child, how are you going to excite them? You know, just looking up to the sky and say, hey, I want to go to the moon, I want to go to Mars, doesn't solve the issue. So you need to give them the right kind of education and guidance towards going or realizing that dream. So we're working with all the 108 countries to give them this curriculum right from the ages of 13.
And what are, in your view, now since you're right in the middle of it, what in your view are the next frontiers of space and innovation, so far as India is concerned?
India, I think India is in a very, very strategic position now. And well, I would talk about Shakti Sat and India because this is going to bring education, space, not only space education, but students from all over the world to come to India, look up to India for education, for culture, for their space launches. So this is going to become a true hub for space because we are a very peace-loving nation and we embrace everybody who comes here. And I think that is very, very important because we are working with countries like Grenada, St. Lucia, Eswatini, and if we need to put in a satellite from such countries, they have so many challenges. And I think India is one country which is so good at embracing anybody who comes.
So
and it's very helpful, easy.
So we have a head start in launching a satellite as a service to the rest of the world.
Rest of the world, yes. And we have Sriharikota and another place in Tamil Nadu, Kulasekharapatnam, which is very close. And so that way economical launches can happen.
Absolutely. And finally, what advice would you give to young girls who want to pursue a career in space research and that area?
It's not an advice, but whosoever I meet, I keep telling them, you need a lot of resilience. Nothing comes easy to you. So just get up, dress up, show up. Rest will be taken care of.
Absolutely. Very inspiring words. Thank you so much, Dr. Srimathy Kesan, for taking the time out and dropping by to have this conversation with us and sharing your deep insights and perspectives.
Thank you. Thank you so much.